Just brutal, Carlo. Thanks very much for that. And speaking of brutal, Steve Buden joining us this week. You're not looking too brutal, buddy, but the situation over in Greece right now is not too pretty. We're talking Financial Focus as we do every Monday, and they need to figure out how they're going to realign, consolidate, or whatever they're going to do with this debt, and soon.
Very soon. We've been talking about this now for a couple of years, but I think now you're really reaching crunch time. And the simple analogy is, imagine you borrowing money from somebody saying, I'm going to improve my business or improve my house, and I lend you money. Well, then all of a sudden you say, the money I'm borrowing from you, I'm going to use for something else. And you're not doing what you said you were going to do. And then you come to me for more money. And now I'm going to say, I'll lend you money, but you have to do A, B, and C to fix your economy. Well, that's not happening. So Greece is threatening to not pay the money back until they get more money. And the European banks and Germany in particular are finally saying enough's enough.
Yeah, Angela Merkel, one of the people that has been outspoken, was saying, you know, Greece, we're not going for a lot of the stuff that you're asking for. A lot of people here, though, think, you know, even this is dealing with European banks and the European Union. We will definitely see a trickle effect in the American markets.
We will. And if you look at the stock market today, as a matter of fact, anytime there's a hiccup with Greece, the question becomes, is this the only issue, right? Are there other European countries that could have this problem? And the market was actually down over 180 points a couple hours ago, so it's come back a little bit. And I think the reason for that is there are some other mergers that have been announced with other corporations. But I think the market would have been down a lot worse had those mergers not been announced strictly because of Greece. But they have till June 30th to work this out. Both sides have left the bargaining table, and we'll see what happens.
You are talking about mergers and acquisitions. A nearly $2 billion deal happened today. We'll get to that, but first, the Fed meeting is happening. Talk to us about that.
Right. The Federal Reserve meets today, and they always review how the economy is doing. Tuesday and Wednesday of this week they meet, and the big guess or the big question is, will they make an announcement in the next week or so? Will they raise interest rates? And we don't necessarily think it'll happen this week. The betting is that it will happen in September, and any evidence in their statement that leads to that will have some impact on the markets, because you know what the Fed does will impact mortgage rates, auto loan rates, credit card rates, and if they begin to go up, it could hurt some folks.
Yeah, even if they don't take action, we always see the anticipation of the possibility always has an effect on the markets.
And that's sometimes worse than actually doing it. The fact that they can what's called talk the market down or up is sometimes more powerful than actually doing it. So their statement tomorrow really makes a difference.
And before we go, that $2 billion deal I was talking about, CVS and Target, is this going to be a game changer here for pharmaceuticals and the pharmacy industry?
I think it will, and I think this is the first shot across the bow. CVS agreed to buy Target's pharmacies. So when you go into Target, you will soon see a CVS pharmacy inside. And it could potentially lead to Walmart, Walgreens, other types of relationships. In an economy like ours where there's really not much growth, this is how companies really need to try to get more revenue. They go into partnerships. It's not an acquisition. They're just acquiring the pharmacies. CVS is not buying all of Target. They're just buying the pharmacies that Target owns.
Is it possible that we could see some of the brick-and-mortar CVS locations here close and some of those employees moved into the Target pharmacies? And is it possible that Target could be cutting their pharmacy employees?
Anything is possible. They haven't gone that far with what the plans are yet. It was just announced today. But certainly if you have a Target in a particular shopping center with a CVS, you certainly don't need both.
Yeah,
right?
Some great stuff there. Steve always has great advice. He is here every Monday at midday with his Financial Focus segment. Steve, thanks very much. Much more to come coming up. Stay with us. Midday.